This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather. Ho there. It's Jeff Cutastrophe. Welcome to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. I stumbled. Birthday boy for today, October 29th, was a former Dutch international goalkeeper and a good soccer goalie at all things. He was actually the chief executive of Ajax in Holland. He began his career with Ajax and won a Champions League with them in 1995. He would move to Juventus, Fulham, and then Manchester United, actually winning the Champions League in 2008, making him one of only 8 players ever to win the Champions League with more than one club. He actually will retire in 2011. He was actually the most capped player in Dutch history until Wesley Sneijder did so. But anyway, this guy was one of the best goalies of all time, especially for the Premier League. He actually set a record for not conceding a league goal for over 1,300 minutes, and the oldest player to be part of a Premier League winning team at 40 years old. His name is Edwin van der Sar, who is 54 years old. Van der Sar was born in Volhout in the Netherlands and would actually start as a youngster at VW Noordwijk. Ajax saw something in him and signed him, one of the best teams in the Dutch league. He bided his time. He didn't whine and complain that he was the reserve, but then he was made the start guy and helped Ajax win the 92 UEFA Cup and the 95 Champions League, in which he was the star goalie and all that. It was huge and all that. In 96, Ajax got back to the Champions League, or the European Club Championship, if you will. Got to the final, but lost to Juventus on a penalty shootout. He put up 226 appearances for Ajax and actually scored a penalty for Ajax to beat De Graafschap one time. He was a 4-time Dutch football goalie of the year. And then a lot of people were looking for him. Man U was looking for a goalie to replace Peter Schmichael, who decided to leave the Red Devils. Van der Sar would head to Juventus for a fee of €5 million. He was the first non-Italian to play for Juventus in net. Juventus, unfortunately, in his first 2 seasons with Italy, would be runners-up in Serie A, that Italian league, if you will. Unfortunately, though, Juventus lost to Perugia on the final day of the 2000 season, and that loss meant Lazio won the league title by a single point. However, Van der Sar would make major mistakes and all that, and Roma would win the thing. Van der Sar's mistakes were so bad that Juve decided to sign Gianluigi Buffon from Parma for approximately €32.6 million. Van der Sar was not willing to be the backup to Buffon, so he decided to head to England and played Fulham in a shock move that Fulham actually picked him up of all teams, and Fulham was just coming back to the Premier League. He felt appreciated. His first Premier League game was against Manchester United in a loss at Old Trafford 3-2. He put up 127 league appearances at Fulham. And anyway, he did okay. Then the Red Devils, well, it's biased because I'm a Man U fan, but Van der Sar would sign with Man U June 2005 for €2 million. Anyway, it was huge and all that. Van der Sar would win the Premier League in 2007 after Chelsea could not beat Arsenal. So, anyway, he was pretty good. In 2008, he had a nagging groin injury, but still he played fantastic. It was helpful. He helped Man U beat their opponents on the final day to win the Premier League title, and then days later, in the Champions League final, he was a star in net, making a few critical penalty saves in the shootout against Chelsea. Although it was helped that John Terry made a gigantic slip on the rain-soaked turf in Moscow that missed the fifth penalty that would have given Chelsea the Champions League. Anyway, Van der Sar did quite well. He helped Man U go 11 straight games without giving up a goal in the league, which actually broke the record by Peter Schmichael, who had 10 straight clean sheets in 2005. He would actually break the overall English league record of 1,103 minutes, which was set by Steve Deff of Reading in 1979. Not the top division, mind you. Anyway, a clean sheet against West Ham in 2009 extended his record to 1,212 minutes, which actually broke the British top flight record set by Scottish League Aberdeen's Bobby Clark in 1971. However, it was huge. And then he broke Jose Maria Bujabasa's record of 1,289 minutes. He did that in Chile. His record of 1,311 minutes without conceding in the league actually was broken as Peter Loverkrantz of Newcastle scored on him. But still, Man U put up a lot of clean sheets and won the Premier League. Unfortunately, though, they would succumb to Barcelona at the Champions League final in 2009. Nevertheless, he was best European goalie. Van der Sar would injure him during a preseason tournament in Germany. He would miss the first 12 games for Man U and finally came back by October 2009 and beat Bolton. Unfortunately, though, he was injured and actually his wife suffered a brain hemorrhage, so he had to be away from the team for a while and all of that. Van der Sar said after the 2011 season he would retire and all of that. He played his final game at Old Trafford against Blackpool in Premier League, meaning that Blackpool would be eliminated from the Premier League. And he was captain of Man U. His last game for Man U was actually the Champions League final against Barcelona, which unfortunately Man U lost 3-1. He was the oldest player to be in the final in the Champions League era. That was 1992 onwards. Dino Soft was 41 years old in the 83 European Cup final, but that was when it was the European Cup, not Champions League. He would retire and would play for the Dutch team many times. He was the star goalie in 98 when the Dutch shocked Argentina in the quarterfinals. And all that. He was involved in the quarterfinals against Argentina also when Ariel Ortega got a yellow card for a dive in the penalty area, and then for some reason he decided to headbutt Van der Sar, sending the Argentine off, and then Dennis Bergkamp scored the famous goal that won it. Of course, the Dutch would lose third place to Croatia. At Euro 2000, he started the Dutch first two group games, but injured himself against Denmark and had to be replaced by Westerveld for the final group match against France. Fortunately, though, Van der Sar came back in the quarterfinals. They were up 4-0. They decided to yank Van der Sar for his protection. He did quite well against Italy in the semifinals. Unfortunately, though, the penalty shootout happened, and after 2 missed penalties by the Dutch in regulation, they couldn't do well. The Dutch couldn't score, and they were knocked out. He finished the tournament without conceding a goal, which was funny. In 2004, in the quarterfinals, he helped the Dutch beat Sweden in the penalty shootouts, but lost to Portugal in the semis. In 2006, he got the Dutch to the second round against Portugal, but they lost. Euro 2008, he was there, but they lost in the quarters to Russia, of all teams. So he did quite well, Van der Sar and all that. He and his wife have 2 children. Anyway, fortunately for Edwin, his wife with a brain hemorrhage was in poor condition, but made a good recovery. Van der Sar had a brain hemorrhage of his own, but spent only 2 weeks in the hospital and it's fine. So for his job with Ajax, Juventus, Fulham, and Manchester United, 821 league games, 1 goal on a penalty. But anyway, He played for the Dutch 130 times, which was the record until Schneider broke it. 4-time champion of the Dutch League, 94, 95, 96, 98. 3-time Dutch Cup champion, 93, 98, 99. Won the Champions League with Blackhawks in 95 and took runner-up in 96. And the UEFA Cup in 92. Won the Premier League 4 times with Man U, 07, 08, 09, and 11. FA Cup wins in 06 and 10. Champions League in 08, runner-up in 09 and 11. So yeah, it may be a little bit biased because of my Manchester United love, but hey, whatever works. And I'm Jeff Diamond, a dude.